Trump announced an energy ceasefire. Vladimir Zelensky responded to Putin's ultimatum about bilateral talks. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak. More news coming up. Melania Trump said she continues working to bring Ukrainian children home. The US First Lady said that Putin responded to a letter she sent to the Russian dictator through Trump.
You pay so much attention to children. Perhaps the most important story in this regard is your efforts to reunite children from Ukraine and Russia. You sent a letter to Vladimir Putin. Did he answer you? Tell us about it.
I answered. Yes, he wrote me an answer. My representative is in touch with them, and we continue to work to reunite the children. I hope that soon we will have great success again. It's so nice to see all these children and especially their happy parents. Of course, everyone wants to be with their child.
Volodymyr Zelensky responded to the Kremlin's proposal to come to Moscow. The Ukrainian president said it is the same as inviting Putin to Kyiv.
Of course, it is impossible for me to meet Putin in Moscow. That would be the same as meeting Putin in Kyiv. I can invite him to Kyiv. Let him come. I publicly invite him if he dares. We want to reach a constructive agreement on a real end to the war. We want a meeting that can bring real results. But if someone does not want to meet and cannot say this openly, then they make such invitations to Moscow.
I remind you that earlier Ushakov, speaking on behalf of Putin, made a statement about a possible meeting between Zelensky and the Russian dictator. Putin's advisor said that the meeting could take place only if Zelensky comes to Moscow.
I would like to say a few words about his statement that Zelensky is ready to meet with the president of Russia. Well, the question is not new to us. By the way, it was discussed several times during telephone contacts between our President Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin and US President Trump. And during these conversations, Trump, in particular, suggested that we, consider such a possibility. And our approach seems to be quite logical. And Vladimir Vladimirovich touched on this topic several times, talking to journalists. And the essence of the approach comes down to the fact that we have never refused and do not refuse this kind of contacts. The main thing is that these contacts are well prepared. This is the first thing. And secondly, they should be focused on achieving specific positive results. And our president also said several times, talking to journalists, that if Zelensky is really ready for a meeting, then we invite him to Moscow and at the same time guarantee his safety and the necessary conditions for work.
The Kremlin reacted very quickly to Zelensky's statement that the invitation to Moscow for a meeting with Putin is manipulative. Here is what Peskov said.
We have also seen and heard these statements. There have been a lot of statements in recent days, in recent hours, in fact. But here, probably, I would remind you that Putin did not invite Zelensky anywhere on his own initiative and did not offer any meetings to Zelensky. Zelensky asked for a meeting, and Zelensky, in fact, initiates a meeting. And in response to this, President Putin replied that yes, we are ready, but only in Moscow. It is very important to remember this here.
Volodymyr Zelensky also spoke about Ukraine's membership in the EU. He said that Ukraine's accession in 2027 is possible.
Compared to other countries, our neighbors and friends in the Balkans, they are not at war and do not have a hostile force on their borders or on Europe's borders that would block their EU membership in the future. Russia will try to block Ukraine's entry into the European Union even in peaceful times. This is obvious, and it has done this before. Russia does not want Ukraine to be a European country. It is interested in Ukraine's market, potential, and people. It wants Ukraine to be neither in NATO nor in the EU. That is why EU membership is our priority now, to protect our future.
I remind you that Friedrich Merz said Ukraine will not be able to join to the EU by 2027 because there are many conditions that still need to be met.
In Berlin, in Paris, we discussed this topic in great detail with each other. And we also told the Americans that Ukraine's accession on January 1st, 2027, is out of the question. It doesn't work. All members, including Ukraine, who later want to join the European Union, must meet the Copenhagen criteria. The process usually lasts several years. Ukraine must have the prospect of becoming a member of the European Union, but this is a long-term process. On the way there, we can slowly bring Ukraine closer to the European Union. It is always possible, but joining so quickly is simply impossible. By the way, there are other priorities now. These are negotiations that are taking place in Abu Dhabi.
President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, said that stopping strikes on energy facilities is a proposal from the United States, including President Trump. Zelensky called this initiative an opportunity, not an agreement.
Whether it will work, I cannot say yet. If Russia heard the signal from the US the same way we did, then we may see some results and be able to assess them. There are no secrets here. There were no direct talks or direct agreements about this between Ukraine and Russia.
In Russia, they traditionally focused on the claim that it was Trump who asked Putin and that Putin supposedly did Trump a big favor.
Indeed, President Trump has made a personal request to President Putin to refrain from striking Kiev for a week, until February 1st, in order to create favorable conditions for negotiations.
And what about them? What will they be? After all, they continue the thing.
There is nothing more to add on this topic.
Tell me, after all, what did the Kremlin respond to Donald Trump? Yes, to this personal request to stop the strikes. And are we talking about stopping strikes only on the energy sector, right? About the so-called energy truce, or about all strikes in general?
In terms of details, there is nothing to add to what has already been said. I just want to emphasize once again, it is about creating favorable conditions for negotiations.
Well, that is, the Kremlin agreed to this proposal.
Yes, of course. There was a personal appeal from President Trump.
Can you clarify, please? Until the 1st of February inclusive or not inclusive on the 1st of February?
Until the 1st of February.
At the end, I want to show a video of how Ukrainian rescuers call centers work. These people take calls from those who are in difficult situations.
Fire and Rescue Service.
Hello.
I hear you.
Good afternoon, evening. I wanted to leave an SOS request. The state emergency service does nothing. They do nothing at all.
It's simple. Does your house serve the housing office?
Which
Housing office, a condominium. There are houses that are maintained by companies.
No, not a Your generator was brought in. He died alone, then the second. Now people are calling, going out into the street because of you. Cats, to make you die. Carrion.
Thank you. Every day, about 3,000 calls are received on the 101 line. We make 1,000 to more calls to utilities and transfer them to services. We work, provide assistance, answer calls, try to help solve issues that come to our line. Dispatchers continue to work non-stop, ensuring stability, coordination and safety.
Now psychologists are working with the Operational Coordination Center, with girls who work on operational shifts. They now have a very heavy load due to the fact that the energy system is very complex in the city, and citizens also call with applications that the electricity has disappeared, the heating has not turned on, or something like that. It is also very important to have a psychologist nearby who is ready to listen, coordinate somewhere, explain, teach to distance themselves from some negativity that now happens very often in their work, because people are irritated, they do not have enough resources for an effective life of support. Therefore, with such negativity, they just call, and the load on this sector is very high today.
Dear viewers, thank you for watching this video, for your activity in the comments, and for liking the video. Stand with Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. See you soon.